Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Only people on the rewind. Just waiting a moment or two to enjoy the cold, noisy morning we're having. The birds are insane today.
They've been insane for a few weeks, I
I
think.
don't know if you can even hear them on the microphone, but there's been a bunch of them all morning. Who you got the hiccups? All right, Kate's got the hiccups.
I have a cure. Okay. It's kind of weird, but whenever Charlie gets it, she's like, hey, help me.
Okay.
So you put your hands over your eyes and you try not to make any noise. No one around you makes noise. And they'll be gone after like 30 seconds.
Does that include like holding your breath and just being still,
just, like,
or
I think it makes you focus on just the hands on your eyes, maybe, and like the silence, and it doesn't make you focus on your hiccup. But it helps Charlie, and I learned it from my art teacher.
Huh. Interesting. TJ and Rod are here. We were talking about curing hiccups. And Kate was saying covering her eyes and being in a still and quiet place.
Yeah, if you don't even need to be in a still and quiet place. Like, you just can't have anyone talking. If you have birds and stuff, it's fine too. But if you just go like this for like 30 seconds, maybe, sometimes it's a minute. But if you do that, it'll work.
Got those wrenches in the chat, just chilling. How you doing, gentlemen? Hopefully your Saturday's getting started right. It's going to be quite a busy Saturday for us.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 4 shows today. This is the first one.
Oh yeah, we're interviewing.
Yeah, we're on Life with 2 YouTubers. That's the last one tonight.
What time is that one?
I got to double check. Maybe if Rena or Sharon or Cade jump in the chat, they can remind me the time. It's in my Instagram. I'd have to double check, but I want to say.
So you have a busy
5:30?
Saturday.
Well,
We don't.
you have one. You've got 2 shows today. This one and that one.
That's pretty random.
2 of them are
We don't
yours.
usually have
2 of them are for
shows.
you.
We only have one show.
I've got 4. Yeah. Well, technically, the last one I think I'm not on. I think it's just you guys. So the kids only. I mean, I might be hanging
Stay
around.
with us, yeah. I don't want to be alone.
I don't want to be alone with my sister and Cade.
It'll be fun, but like,
It'll be fun.
I don't
Absolutely.
know. I guess I'm shy.
Buenos dias, Juan y señorita. That was Raj. Buenos dias a tú también. Igualmente. No Good Comics is in here, and Hydra, who I hung out with last Sunday for like an offline pub crawl. It was really, really fun. It was us and the podcast homies from UK, all just kind of hanging out. And I should have had a beer, honestly. It was noon my time, which is like, that's a little early for a beer, but I should have done it just to be part of the crew.
I slept really well last night.
So I got this show, Rod, and then at 4 o'clock Eastern, for your time, I'm on the 1-2 Comic Talk channel with Kevin, and we are going to be talking about LCSs and the challenges they've had and how they're going to reopen and when they're going to be getting their books. So we'll do an LCS sort of catch-up discussion at 1 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock Eastern, on the 1-2 Comic Talk channel. A really important topic that I think everybody has a lot of thoughts and questions about. I think Kevin is so great about coming up with these kind of topics that I think we all want to hear a little bit, you know? And I think that's going to be really useful. So that's at 1 o'clock my time, 4 Eastern. And then I've got a huge Comic Gories show today. And that's at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 my time. So the Boy Who Had Seven's got a big show today as well that I'm reffing. And this show is going to have pop culture philosophers, Gem Mint, Bueller, and Comic Tom going head to head.
Holy moly.
The big guys.
That's epic.
Yeah, the big dogs are rolling in. And Matt and I did a conference call on Thursday to kind of like figure out. It's not really a conference call if it's just 2 people, but whatever. we did a call to figure out the categories. This is the first time we ever really sat down as a team and went through like which ones we want. Usually I just send him a ton. He's got a list he's already compiling and he just pulls the ones he wants. This time we went round by round and kind of looked it over just to be like, how are we gonna make this work? So that'll be fun. That's at 2:30 my time, 5:30 Eastern. We wanted to spend more time on those because it's hard. You talk about like Bueller and Tom, their collection has shrunk considerably because they're selling and giving away so many of their books. So they have a smaller amount, kind of like DS. And then you talk about Gem Mint, who only has omnibus. He doesn't collect individual issues. He collects those giant hardcover books. So it's going to be a tricky game to play. I think it's going to be very funny. I think it's going to be very different than the usual game that we play because they're different collectors, those four guys. They're very different collectors. So it should be very interesting. A huge amount of people have jumped in the chat, and I have not acknowledged them.
Comics on the mind.
Yeah, I saw Kirk was in here, and Seawood19, good to see you. You were great last night on the Comic Core. You guys did a great job last night. Symbiote Spider Mike is in here. Big Lion Cat 646. Meow.
Seawater.
I saw Seawood, yeah. Mr. Garrell is in the chat. And did I miss somebody? I thought I was Captain Comics. That's who I forgot. Good morning to Captain Comics and Second Street Marvel. Yeah, Metarog was speaking to us in Spanish right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
He did a really nice show for Bub Comics yesterday, having a journey to 1,000. We crested him. We crested him over the 1,000. Gave him that little Metarog bump, and it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I couldn't stay long. I was there for a little bit, then I went backstage, and then one of my students and their family came by to deliver dinner to me last night. So I kind of had to jump off of here and get over there and say hello to them. So, yeah. Let's see, did I say hello to everybody? I think I got everybody. Oh, my dad's in the chat. Hello, Dad. Good morning to you. If Big Lion Cat, if you've got an auction going, you can definitely let people know in the chat that you've got an auction going.
You can go first if you want.
You want me to go first? I was going to save that for last.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to go or you want me to do it?
Well, this one takes a lot of explanation.
Do you want to start with that one? Share something?
Sure.
Excuse me.
Finally, I get to cover up his face.
Nah, ha, 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 ha. Dork Diaries.
Dork Diaries. This one's the newest one. It's issue 14. It's book 14, and all of them have this little sticker on the front that says "Tales from a Not So Something." So this one's Best Friend Forever. This girl on the front. This one is the mean one, and that's the good one. So, but the mean girl's name's Mackenzie, and she's like really rich, and she's really mean, and they're both after the same guy. But go ahead. I know you're gonna say something.
No, I was laughing at Raj saying that is Jay Jonah in here because that would be my dad if I was John Jameson from the comic books, not John Jameson from real life, right? That was very funny. And Sharon, can you drop the time for the show today on your channel when we're because I want to say it was 5:30 my time, 8:30, but I was probably wrong. It might be slightly different. So Sharon will let you guys know about that last show with the girls. You're right.
Sneeze. It hurts my nose.
Oh, you're gonna sneeze? Okay.
Nope, it's gone. Sorry.
So good morning to you, Sharon.
Okay, so they're both after the same. This is like middle school, I think, 7th grade, 8th grade, and so the mean girl and the nice girl are both after the same guy, but the guy likes the nice girl because she's nice.
Because she's nice, probably.
And the nice girl has a little sister named Brianna, and Brianna is like very, very annoying. She steals her sister's phone to play video games and call Princess Sugarplum, who's like a cartoon person, and she basically jeopardizes their tour because Nikki is the nice girl. She has a band with Brandon, Chloe, Zoe, Marcus, Theo, and Violet.
There's a lot of characters.
Yes. And those are the people in her band, and they got a record deal
Hair's looking amazing this morning. I just threw water on it. It's looking incredible this morning.
It's soft, I'll tell you that. But so she's very annoying. Brianna's very annoying, and Nikki gets a call from Trevor Chase.
Okay.
Trevor. I never realized how hard it is to like say it out loud. Trevor Chase. He's like the guy who gave them a record deal. He owns a show called 15 Minutes of Fame, and like, so she has to call him back, and it says, "Hello, this is Trevor Chase. I'm not available right now." So she's like, "I'll leave him a message." Then the mailbox is completely full, and then Nikki is so this is the girl.
Good morning, Kachung. Hello to you. Ooh, hi, Lucha Libre's in here. He was on the show last night talking about horror films from the 80s, and I got a little moniker for that up there. Something to enjoy.
It kind of looks like, for some reason, the face of that thing is reminding me of something in Stranger Things.
It does. Stranger Things definitely takes elements from The Thing. Great movie.
Because you know that flower guy? The guy who looks like he has a flower head?
Yeah.
And that like reminds me of him.
Okay.
I feel like he wouldn't be that scary, but I've heard from many people like he's horrifying. So.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're starting to get to the age where you like scary movies.
I like scary movies. I don't like scary things.
I don't know what
like,
that means.
Scary. I'll watch like Die Hard.
Right.
But stuff like.
That's more like action.
Yeah.
Less of like the monster coming to get you kind of stuff.
I want to see it, but I'm going to be horrified, so I'm not.
You want to see it just to talk to your friends about it.
That's funny.
I don't know that you'd actually appreciate. I think you'd be horrified by that, and yeah, that would be nightmare-inducing. That's not a good decision. Yeah, we love John Carpenter around here too. Comics on the Mind, or at least I should say I do, because I've seen a bunch of his movies and really enjoy his stuff.
Wait, I have a question. I'm kind of like, I have to share this part though.
Okay.
So Brandon and Nikki, they're both like extremely awkward.
Okay.
And when they're sitting, so she tries to organize all these fun things, and then they always end up really bad. So they're bathing her dog because his grandparents work with the Fuzzy Friends shelter, and so she accidentally gets him wet too.
Right.
Then they go on a romantic amusement park ride, but it was called the Kiss of Death, so like they weren't crazy, and Brandon liked it, but she hated it.
Okay.
Then their ice cream sundae melted, and then she was like, let's pick a fun comedy. She picks it, and it's actually a horror movie. Then she stares at Brandon instead of the fireworks, so yeah, that's Dork Diaries. It's like really funny and weird. Spunky.
Kachung says he thinks that Kate means if the movie is real, then it's scary. If it seems real, then it's scary.
Yeah, that makes.
Sharon says, "Well, who wouldn't want to watch Die Hard?" Yeah, it was an exciting moment getting to share that.
Charlie didn't like it that much, but I think
she's come around. I think that it was just the first time watching that was like, what? So much fun.
Oh, now I have a machine gun.
Yeah, now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Classic. Too good. Well, I'm going to go... Well, Sharon is here now. So I've started reading this book. This is Rena's book. Look, there she is. Oh, cute little writer right there on the back. I've started reading Rena's book. I'm only 3 chapters in. So I'm about 25 pages into the book. And it's great. Rena, you did a really good job. It's a wonderful universe that is unlike any that I've ever read before. And I read a bunch of fantasy. I'm very interested in the characters that she's introduced. There's sort of this Thor-like group with a hero, Thor, and his like Warriors 3 and the Lady Sif. Kind of, there's this little band of heroes kind of going on there that I kind of like at the beginning, that we're getting this vision of a kingdom and this ranger and his other guardians of the bridges and gates. And it's really kind of cool. It's a nice start. I'm just getting into it. I'm going to read a ton today in between the shows that I'm doing, just to kind of, I like to read a bunch when I first pick up a book, just so that I'm into it, and then I can then pick and choose as I go along. But yeah, I'm already like I'm already in.
Dad? Can I read it?
Let me finish it first. Aww.
Is that the bad guy at the top?
I haven't met that character yet. I'm assuming this guy is the ranger, the one with the sword on his back. And
Did she draw that?
No, her friend did. One of her friends made this cover for her, painted that for her.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good. That's cool. So yeah, thank you for publishing and letting us get a chance to buy it. And of course, you can go to isleofthedark.com and get your own if you would like. And I want to say she just gave one away to somebody on Instagram, so it's pretty cool. But if you like good fantasy writing and you want to support an indie, a real indie self-publisher, it's kind of a fun way to do that. Sorry, I'm speaking and trying to drink my tea at the same time. BLC, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Big Lion Cat. That's horrible to hear.
I have a question, Dad.
A thriller could be real, horror isn't. Supernatural. It's got supernatural elements. That's one way to look at it, Kachung. I think of anything that leaves me with a sense of fear and dread would fall into a horror category. Now, within horror, I'm willing to say that there are supernatural and sci-fi and slasher and all these other like sub-genres. But I look at horror as a bigger umbrella. And the area that I enjoy the most right now in my life tends to be the psychological thrillers, the ones that really mess with your mind. Those are the ones I really love. Yeah, I don't know if she's got an iBook yet, TJ. Maybe Sharon can let us know if there's an e-reader version that people can buy and download. That would be interesting to know. Yeah, she did a contest on her IG and gave a book away. It was really cool. And looks like Sharon mailed one out to Kirk as well. So Kirk's got his on the way. And when I'm done, I definitely want to set up a book club chat with some people who want to go over it. So I know that there's a bunch of community members who have copies of the book. I think it would be fun to do a little a discussion, little book club around it. So I think I'm going to try to wrangle a few people that have, when they've finished, a little chat time to get together. A little something. Could be kind of fun.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About the horror movies you were talking about.
Sure.
Which one would you think is scarier? What's it called?
You're gonna pick ones that your friends talk about, right?
No, it's just one that I've heard you say. It, or what's the one with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt?
Oh, A Quiet Place.
Yeah. Which one do you think would be scarier?
I think It is a scarier movie in the sense that the bad guy is a much creepier villain. So that's based on a book by Stephen King, and it's the monster in that takes a lot of different forms, but it's usually something that feeds off of fear. So it wants to make you scared of it, kind of like a
boggart.
A boggart. Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of like the
boggart.
boggart.
Very similar, yeah.
But it most often appears as a really menacing, creepy clown. That's why
clowns, everyone hates clowns.
Right. And so it's a big part of that story is whatever you imagine, there's elements of that it feeds on, and it gets powerful from your fear, like a Dementor as well, right?
Yeah. Also, Arena might understand this, but like Horrificator is really similar to that.
And A Quiet Place is very intense and scary, but it's not the same kind. It's more like a constant sense of like something bad's gonna happen.
Because I kind of know what that one's about. It's like they're living in a house with a monster upstairs.
No.
Is that not it?
The idea is that they're living in like something in a future where a species unheard of has taken over Earth and is running wild, and they can't see, they only hear. And they hear every single sound you make. So if you make any
noises.
Yeah, they have to be completely silent everywhere they go and everything they do, because they're everywhere.
Suck. Because how do they open doors? Doors creak a lot.
It's interesting the way they sort of layer in the things that they've changed about their lives to make it work. Everybody speaks in sign, so they're all talking in sign language.
Do they have subtitles on the bottom?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
They're making
it's a
another
really
one,
good
right?
movie. I really enjoy it. Sorry, I'm missing a ton. We're just having a conversation here. You should hire John to do the audio version. Hey, I'm happy to help out in any way, whatever they need. Elf Quest, ooh, good one. Tacoma Comics, yeah, man, that's a great comic series. I haven't gone back to. I wish they had that on like the Marvel Unlimited app. That would be awesome. Did I miss anybody? I don't want to miss anybody's things. Let's see here. We're working on the digital version. Okay, cool. That would be awesome. Certain those both. I would say that definitely It is very gory, but it's a Stephen King. You can give that would definitely be true. So that you can talk only behind waterfalls, says Metarog, right? That would totally suck. I agree. Thank you, Sharon's driving but listening. Thank you. I guess then we're making Sharon pull over and constantly tell us things and then get back on the road. All right. So I shared one. You shared one. Is it your turn now?
Look at what Cade
Is Cade in there?
Yeah.
Where?
He said, "Mwahaha, I know what happens in all the books and you don't."
He's just trying to. He's just nervous because he knows later he's going to be interviewed by Kate. And Kate's going to devise all these mean and difficult questions just to traumatize them.
Yes. Run.
Well, actually, we're going to go back and rewatch some of Cade's videos to have real specific
Yes.
questions about some of his videos. How did you do this, or why did you do that? So
I remember when we watched his first one, we asked to watch another one because they're so funny.
they are very funny. Cade's great, man. So that's Burning Block about 99 is Sharon, Life with Two YouTubers. That's one of her YouTubers. Rena, or R.A. Random Wolf, is her other YouTuber. She's got some very successful children right now, going wild in our community. So it's time for your second book, I believe. By the way, Charlie is still sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's gonna wake up today. She's had a very busy, hard week trying to keep up with all her studies.
Richie Rich Fortunes, the poor little rich boy.
The interview, Sharon said it was 8 o'clock her time, which is 7 o'clock my time, which is 10 o'clock East Coast. So I think I've gotten the time frame right. Sure. So it should be if it's 8 o'clock for Mountain Time, that's where Sharon is. Then it's 7 o'clock my time, which would be 10 o'clock East Coast time on the Life with Two YouTubers channel. But if you just head over to that channel and hit the notification bell, you should be able to get a little warning just before we go live.
Okay, so the first story in here is really funny. It's like Richie Rich and Gloria Glad, which is like the girl he likes. They're sitting at like one of those drive-in movies right at the beach, and there's like a monster, a sea monster, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" And they say, "Oh, it must be some advertising stunt to dazzle us so we come back."
Hey, Charlie's awake.
She's awake.
Do you want to go eat your breakfast? You just want to snuggle down? All right. Here you go.
Some blanket.
That's all right. I can share some blanket with you. Come on in. Ugh. Hey, everybody. Charlie's awake.
And so so the guy who's running it says there's like a sea monster, and then the boss is like, "Okay, sorry, we must stop the show. Your money will be refunded. Please leave." So they turn the movie off, and then it starts getting really mad, and then it turns it back on, and then it smiles, and then it turns it off, and it starts getting mad again.
A
And
monster in a Richie Rich story. This is something new.
I know. And then Richie Rich buys the theater, and he goes to the mayor, and the mayor says, "The monster's ruining our town, is scaring everyone." And he says, Richie Rich says, the monster's peaceful when the movie's running. He likes to look at the movies. And so he says, "Look, the monster brought his family. Yes, this place is getting 50,000 paying visitors a day, and it's also helping the popcorn business. I'm a happy mayor." So they watch the monster who likes theater, and then they watch the movie.
So the
Which is
monster
pretty
comes to watch
cool.
the movies too.
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's pretty cool. I like
Metarog says, I read those constantly. 40-some years ago, love them. Or I read those constantly 40-some years ago. Yeah, for sure. Kirk and Sharon say good morning, Charlie. Scott says, she's cute but still fired. I'm only getting 2/3 of my reviews.
You're fired, Charlie.
Scott Evans wants Charlie reviews. Oh, man. Too funny. All right. Can you... I have no free arm. Can you put that on the end of the table over there?
No, got it.
Oh, okay. You can look at it. Okay. Most of you know I'm on the comic book side. I'm working my way through the Brian Michael Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man, and I've almost finished the first hardcover volume. I recently bought number 4, which is right there. I got it. I'm finding them for really cheap on eBay, so I'll buy one for like less than half the cost of what the MSRP is. And I already have number 2. I'm just going to get number 3, and then I'll have a whole run of about 50, 60 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man in the hardcovers. It's a really good run. It's a fun way for those people that are like, oh, I've never really read Spider-Man, or I don't know where to start reading Spider-Man. It's a fun jumping on point. Very true to the origin of the character. Not very dated. You don't have to go back and hear about jalopies and, going for a malted or whatever. Instead you get like, yeah, Spidey's got a cell phone. It's a lot of the stuff that they probably used more readily to do the more recent films. And so I've been enjoying going through and reading up on it. I even shared a couple of panels on the Wednesday show on the Comic Core. It was a lot of fun. So I've just been enjoying this is by Brian Michael Bendis, and the art is by Bagley, Jeff Bagley. So it's very classically skinny Spidey, not the giant ripped McFarlane Spidey, but more the skinnier, gangly, awkward teenager Spider-Man. So trade number 1, I want to say, has about 12 or 13 issues in it. Let's see. Yeah, 13 of the issues. It goes through, it's all the origin story stuff that you've heard from Spidey a bunch. Uncle Ben, power and responsibility, all those kinds of themes from Spidey. But I do like the Ultimate Universe here, that they really did a good job, I think, of taking the root and not necessarily reinventing it, but just building on it. And if you saw Edge of Spider-Verse, which is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man movie, they do a lot of pulling in Ultimate Universe stuff in there, including the version of the Green Goblin they have, which is definitely based on the version of the Green Goblin here, which is a beast, less of a man in a suit and more of just a monster. So that is kind of cool as well. And I'm looking forward to getting into the later stuff. I know there's this one, the new one I just bought. Where is it? Right there. It has Storm on the cover. That's Storm right there. So there's clearly some X-Men crossover stuff. Volume 3, which I'm trying to find for a good price. I think I found some for like $20. These usually, the retail price is between like $30 and $40 for the hardcovers. But if I can find a $20 copy, that's exactly what I'm looking for. The 3rd volume has Venom. So there's a whole Venom storyline. So there's definitely some really good stuff for people that are, I've never tried Spider-Man, or I don't really know if I like Spider-Man. This is a really good place to get in. The look of Ultimate Moon Knight, says Kachung. Nice. Yeah, I've really only been, I want to say the only Ultimate stuff. I read a little bit of the Ultimate FF, the Fantastic Four stuff, and Spidey. That's really the only Ultimate stuff I really tried out. I was not collecting when the whole Ultimate Universe started. Tacoma goes even bigger than me and says it's the best superhero movie, hands down. I would say for me, it's the best Spidey movie. But I would agree that it would be on the short list of my favorite superhero films for sure. Superman 1 is always going to hold a place in my heart. Like, it's just forever going to, Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman, Superman 1. It's going to be tough to ever knock that movie out of number 1. It's just going to be difficult. So that one's always way, way high on my list. And then Winter Soldier is always top of the MCU. It's always right up there as well. Oh, Kate's trying to sneak in some. Don't you dare take that. Rena's book is for me right now. It's not for you. Don't you sneak ahead on me. Stayed away from the Ultimate stuff, but want to read Spidey, X-Men, and the FF, says Kurt. Yeah, for sure. Good morning, Dylan. How's it going, man? Good to see you. The Ultimate Moon Knight that shows up in... Oh, he's in the Ultimate Spider-Man run. Nice. And this is a huge run. I want to say there's like 10 of these hardcovers.
Oh my gosh, we got the new one, didn't we?
We have the fourth one, not the third one yet. The third one, I'm still waiting for a good price on it. But there's like 10 of these hardcovers. So I'm just sort of little by little, I'll grab one for $10 or $15 when I can find them. And I'm going to create, it's one of the only things I'm getting in hardcover. I'm a bit of a completionist. But I want to go from this into the Miles Morales stuff and just sort of seamlessly see it as Bendis imagined it and kind of fall all the way through it, you know? So that's my goal with reading this, but it's a long-term goal. It's not like I'll just do that on a weekend. I'm going to definitely need to work my way through it and buy them when I see them. My LCS has a lot of used trades, and every once in a while they get a hardcover of Ultimate Spider-Man and they hold it for me so I can add it to my list.
Okay, I'll stop. I read the prologue though.
Oh, Kate's already reading ahead. Man, oh man. Yes, Kirk did have a birthday. Happy birthday again to Kirk. I believe it was last weekend or middle of last week. Yeah, happy birthday. All right, Kate.
Happy birthday.
You want to do your last book? Can you put it in? Why don't you sit up and put it in? Yeah.
Oh, I like that book.
I can't cover you both, sadly. Oh, now I can.
But no one can read it when you do it sideways.
Yeah.
Grandmaster is in here. Hello.
This is The Prince and the Dressmaker. It's kind of like weird and interesting, but it's about this prince who doesn't want to be a prince. He wants to be like a princess, basically, which is actually kind of cool. But he wants a seamstress who doesn't know he's a boy, so that she can give him clothes and he can just wear a wig and she will never know. That's what he hopes. But then she finds out that he's a prince, not a princess. And then they kind of like slowly are falling in love all through the book. And so she designs dresses and like braids his hair when he goes out and stuff. And he actually like looks really good as a lady. Like, look at that. He looks really good. But so his parents he thinks his parents would be ashamed because his parents are like, he's next in line for the throne, so he doesn't want them to know.
Right.
And then he like.
And they want him to marry a princess, and he wants to, yeah.
And then they meet while they're like.
While he's dressed as a woman.
Yeah, and then her brother, like sees Lady Crystalia, which is his girl name, and like kisses her hand, and he's just like.
Yeah.
And
it's really awkward because like that could be his future bride in front of him.
Uh-oh. I hope TJ's not in the chat. Kachung. Shh. Kachung. Shh. TJ doesn't know when my birthday is.
He could catch this on the rewind.
I know. So hopefully TJ is distracted and not paying attention. I forgot that Kachung knew about where my birthday was. I think I had mentioned it a year or two ago. I mean, we've been doing this almost, what? Has it been 2 years now? So, yeah,
That's
I mean, it's crazy, yeah. In July, it'll be 2 years when I posted my first comic book video.
So Frances is his like designer.
The dressmaker.
Yeah, and she walks around with him all day and stuff like that. And so she wants to be a fashion designer, and the girl who's his bride is like, I'm meeting with Madame Aurelia, who's a personal friend of the family. And then she's like, here, you want to come to the spa with us? And then he's like, because it's an all-ladies. So
yeah.
He says, also, we're going to a spa, which we're going to be wearing very little clothing. Oh, my God. And then he like, stretches his face. He's like, ugh. And then he says, what time are you meeting?
So it's just the comedy of...
Yeah, it's really funny. And so then they find out, her brother.
I don't know that you want to ruin the story or everything, but just tell us what you liked about it. Just do the overview, right? Your review.
I like that everything works out in the end. I mean, I'm sorry for spoiling that part, but like everything works out.
Sure. Well, it
That's
is
a
it is a
very
bit of a
good
fairy
guess.
tale, right?
Yeah.
And that's
then-
the most beautiful thing.
TJ hasn't commented, so I think we're safe. I think he's not listening.
Or he's just documenting the moment. And then like they kind of like, I like the stuff in the back because it says my process.
How she, the artist, how she makes the book,
And
how
it
made the
kinda
book. Because it's a
shows-
graphic novel. Sorry, did you show the inside at all?
No.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel. Let me see if I can find a really good page. Yeah, like it's a graphic novel. The Prince and the Dressmaker is the title.
And then in the back.
I think we've shared it before.
Yeah, but I really like this book. I read it in San Francisco at the comic place, Dad.
TJ's
And-
here.
You're not safe. Run. Okay. So, he kind of, like, I read from this book in, San Francisco, because when we got to that comic place, remember, we went to that really cool, like, Jack
Yeah,
Kirby
there
or
was
something?
a museum for, and they had an exhibit. There was I think it was called a cartoon museum in San Francisco. It's possible Kirk, he's in the Bay Area. He might be from it. It's right near Ghirardelli Square, and it's called the Cartoon Museum, I think is what they call it. And they had an exhibit going for Jim Starlin
Jim Starlin, that's
about 2 years ago or a year and a half
It
ago.
was really, really
2
cool.
years ago.
It was really cool. They had, like, Iron Man.
They had
his chess piece.
replica costumes from the films.
And it said, there was a little sign that said, borrowed from Stark Industries.
Yeah,
I found that
that
really,
was
really
funny.
funny. But
But they had they had a lot of the original art by Jim Starlin all through the museum. It was really kind of cool. And they had apparently the woman who made this, Jen Wang, must live nearby because she had done a signing or an event, and they had copies of her books all around.
this one's not signed because we got this one for something else. But
See you later, Raul. Thanks for joining last night. You can catch Raul last night on Top 5 if you missed it last night. You can catch the rewind.
But anyways, so when we walked into the comic museum, I remember the lady was like, "Enjoy your time." And she was like, "Also, we have some new books that we'd like you guys to like buy. They're really, really cool. We'd love if you checked them out." This was the book they asked us to check out, and so we read it, and I was like, "Mom, can we please buy it?" She was like, "No, maybe you can put it on your Christmas list." So I asked my Secret Santa for it,
At school.
which ended up being Roxana. So of course her mom was like, "It's a book." So
Let's get it.
yeah, so she got it for me,
That's
which
cool.
was really nice of her. I love that. She also got me a cool bookmark that has an anchor and a K up there. It's really cool.
Ooh, nice.
And so this was originally supposed to be like grown adults instead of like 16-year-olds or however old they are. I'm pretty sure they look like they're 16. But
So
like,
her process it went
Yeah.
through some changes. The artist.
there's adults and then them as teenagers.
Oh, that's kind of cool. You want me to show it?
Yeah, it's the same exact like.
So she did
Scene?
this scene with a sort of older looking character,
Yeah, adult and
and then later decided to age them down and did the same scene again, but with a younger version of the prince.
also she kind of like says why she did it,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of cool. She did it because very little of the story changed except that everything was heightened. The protagonists were discovering things about themselves for the first time, which made it more innocent and emotional.
Okay.
Which was like really cool. But I really, really, really like that book a lot.
I know you
read it
do.
a lot.
I know you're a fan.
Anything on Spider-Man?
Well, let me share my last book, and then we'll worry about. Kachung wanted to know what's for breakfast for you. Do you want to go take a look?
Yeah.
She's gonna go take a look and see and come back. I already know, but it gives
Can
me
I
a
get
chance
my
to share.
thingy, my little.
One of the people I interviewed during the Mainframe Comic Con was a writer named David Pepos, and he's done a bunch of different indie books. And the one that he kept talking about that sounded amazing to me was Spencer and Locke, which is a detective crime comic. And I went and found there's lots of good deals on eBay for the whole 4-issue miniseries that the run starts with. It's from Action Lab, and they've done 2 miniseries. So there's a volume 1 and a volume 2. They're each 4 issues long, Let's not eat yogurt on the couch. So we're not going to do
I'm
that.
just
So
showing it off.
all right.
Can I hold it? It's cool.
You can hold a yogurt in your hands, yes. But Spencer and Locke, it's basically, Kate's going to think it's funny, but it's basically Calvin and Hobbes as police officers. So Locke is a policeman who has a pet cat, a stuffed animal that he imagines as another partner detective. It's like his partner. So there is no cat in real life. Nobody sees Spencer.
It's literally Calvin and Hobbes.
It
It's
is-
a different story.
But yeah, done as like a sort of dark drama police thing, and it's
No.
quite
Did
it's
they get
quite
in trouble?
original. And I read issue 1 and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be finishing this storyline, the first volume of Spencer and Locke. But it's a good read. And David Pepos he's a very creative writer. He's got a bunch of other series, so I'm going to probably finish this and then start looking into some of his other stuff.
Did they get in trouble for did they have to get the
No, they didn't
copyright?
They didn't use any of the original stuff from
The story's
Calvin and
pretty
Hobbes.
similar.
Yeah.
There's also
The idea, right? Some of the root, maybe.
I was reading about Harry Potter,
Mm.
and J.K. Rowling actually found a book that was very, very similar to Harry Potter, and it's it has a very similar color or cover.
Okay.
People think that she either ripped it off or because they came out about the same time, so no one really knows. But the cover has the girl on the bicycle in the same pose as Harry. She's
Right.
catching a baseball or something, and so it's very, very similar to Harry Potter. It's magic and stuff. So
Hydra is mentioning Harvey the Rabbit. Great story of a character dealing with an invisible friend.
the rabbit,
Harvey is a rabbit that
it's
the
invisible.
hero can see, but nobody else can see. And he's talking about Harvey, and he's having
Oh, yeah,
conversations
there's
with
another
Harvey.
movie. There's actually also a movie where
There's a play and a
I
movie.
don't know what it's called, but there's a famous soccer player named Alex Morgan, and they're in the game. The girl plays soccer, and she ends up getting hit in the head, and then she imagines, and she talks to it, but Alex Morgan is living with her, so she's talks to her, and no one else can see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it tells her how to play soccer. It's really cool.
Nice. Well, I enjoyed Spencer and Locke, and I'll probably end up checking out Volume 2 as well. I don't know if it exists in any trade format, but I'm sure you can get digital versions if you want that kind of thing as well. We're going to get going because we got a bunch of other stuff going on today.
For breakfast,
What are we having for breakfast?
we get to have a yogurt. We get to have some bread,
Toast?
toast, jam, some hard-boiled eggs, and blueberries.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good
And
all
a
around.
spoon.
Wilfred. Good morning, Perry. Perry dropped his video on Avengers: Age of Ultron yesterday, and
I
it was a
missed
good
that.
it was a good reaction video yet again. He's on fire with those. He's got lots of good reaction videos, and now apparently he's got to watch The Thing. I don't know if Perry stuck around to the end of top 5 last night, Perry, but all three panelists picked the same movie as the best horror film from the 80s. So you got to go and watch it now. All of us agree. You've got to see The Thing. It's right here. I got the DVD right there. John Carpenter's classic film. We will see Sharon tonight. This is 7 o'clock my time, 10 Eastern, on the Life with Two YouTubers channel. These ladies will be interviewing Cade and talking it up. You can see me next on Kevin's channel, 1-2 Comic Talk. We're going to be talking about LCSs. And then, of course, I'll be on Matt's Matt's The Boy Who Had 7 channel at 2:30 my time, 5:30 Eastern, to do another round of comic gories. Already have that movie. Good. Perry, you got to check it out, man. Got to check it out. I'm not going to tell you what. You just watch it, brother, and see what happens. Is it super scary? He sounds like a little, I don't want to be scared. Is it super scary?
Get a really, really, really soft
You can
stuffed
handle it.
animal
Just look
from
it
your
up.
son. Get a really soft blanket, and get into the most comfy pajamas. And then you can get your favorite food and you can eat.
While you watch a scary movie?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
just cuddle up.
Okay. All right. Everybody have a great day. I hope to see a bunch of you in the chats all day long. I'm going to be catching up on Rena's book through the day. So hopefully by the time I get the girls on with Sharon, I'll be able to tell you what page I'm on and how I'm doing with the book.
Yes, I did it.
Everyone, take good care, and we will see you soon. What did you do?
Got it on our noses.
Oh, you're balancing the spoon on your nose. All right. Congratulations, girls. Good call. I need a blankie, says Perry.